Welcome back to SnowRunner, y'all, and in this video, we are going to be taking a look at the top 3 most popular, currently, at the time of filming this video, top 3 most popular console-available Dodge Ram-inspired trucks that are Cummins powered. Now, before I see a bunch of comments saying things like, well, this truck is actually better, or this truck is, better, why is it not on this list? Why are you not showing this truck? Why are you not showing this truck? The trucks that are shown in this video are, once again, let me go ahead and clarify, the currently, at the time of filming this video, the most popular, aka highest trending on the mod browser, top 3 Cummins-powered Dodge Ram-inspired trucks, and of course, there are going to be others that are not in this video, but again, these are just the current top 3, which also, of course, can change over time, so if you're watching this video a little bit later down the road, these trucks may have, or at least these trucks may not be the most popular Dodge Ram-inspired trucks on the mod browser, but I'm sure that they'll stick around for a while. So with that being said and done, let me give you all a quick rundown of the trucks that we have in this video. We have this one right here, the R&R Customs 3500, which is obviously based on a 2nd gen. Next, in the middle, we have the Mega Cab HD Standard. Now, there's going to be 3 different versions of this truck. There's the Standard, the Super Single, and the dually. I kind of opted for the standard for this test, and then the third one that we have is the R&R Yeti 5500, which I opted for in the dually configuration, and this thing is an absolute beast, and I went with the 4th gen grill on this one because, honestly, we don't see a ton of 4th gen Dodge representation in the modding scene of this game. We see some, and I'm not going to discount that. We do see some. We just don't see a ton of it, is what I was trying to say. So, with all that being said, we're going to go ahead and kick off our tests in the 2nd gen. So let's fire it up and see what it can do. I will say, on the point of sound, this truck is wonderful. In terms of especially the startup sound, it's great. So let's go ahead and absolutely send this thing into the mud and see what happens. Oh my god. Well, that was actually a bit underwhelming. I expected it to go a lot farther than that. I know that this truck is tuned a little bit more to the realism side in a lot of ways, but I did not expect to get completely, ground to a halt when we jumped into the mud. Now, once we found some traction, it was able to actually pick up the pace and start moving, which is good, but I was a little bit nervous there for a bit. I wasn't sure what it was gonna do. We do have more trucks to go through, so do keep that in mind, but this thing, I was a little surprised by. I was like, are you serious? All right, come on, let's make our way on out of the mud. It still made its way through, so I do have to give it credit for making it all the way through. We can actually kick the speed up a little bit too, come on. I think it was just the fact that we jumped into it and sank that kind of got us off to a sketchy start. I don't think it was an issue with the grip or an issue with the truck itself. I just legitimately think that us jumping into the mud pit like that may or may not have gotten it off on the wrong foot. So, now we're going to move over to the Mega Cab HD. This is going to be very much so based around a single-wheel Mega Cab 3500, so let's see what this thing can do. And I should also mention that all 3 of these trucks are built out as far as they can be in terms of the parts that are available in the garage. So let's give it a good send. Oh, this thing's going to rip. Come on! Oh, this thing shreds. Look at that! Okay, well, that was a little bit of a performance upgrade, to say the least. Let's give it some beans back the other way, and send! Come on! Not bad, not bad. Wow. This thing absolutely just eats that mud pit. It absolutely devours it. All right, well, that was quite the performance. I'm gonna let you chill for a minute. Now we're going to get into the Yeti 5500, which I actually don't really have much experience driving in recent memory, at least. I have a lot of experience driving it back when it first came out, but I know that this thing has been refined and retuned over time. So let's see what it can do. Come on. It's got some pace behind it. Leaves the jump pretty well. It's actually moving in high. Okay, it slowed down a little bit. It was starting to sink. So I put it in automatic mode. It's definitely not going as slow as the 2nd gen, though. This thing is still absolutely eating. Come on. starting to go a little bit slower now. That front axle is sinking, although those dual boggers in the back are definitely giving us a good push. I think it's still advantageous for us to go in low plus right now. Yeah, definitely now that we've got a little bit more grip at the front and on our way out. Not bad. Not as quick through the mud as the Mega Cab HD, but quicker than the second gen. So it kind of finds a balance in the middle. Now, though, it's time to head on over to the Mega Jump with these trucks, and I am a little bit unsure as to how that's going to go. I'm kind of back and forth about it, because I'm thinking, well, these trucks have the potential to do really well, but at the same time, they also have the potential to just instantly, you know, smash into the ground when they land and not actually go very far. So I don't even know if their suspensions are going to be stiff enough to take up all of that force when when literally the G-forces are pushing down into the truck when it gets down to the bottom of the ramp. Everything compresses at the bottom of the ramp, and some trucks will bottom out, and it will legitimately hurt their jump distance. So it really all depends on how these trucks actually handle all of the force put on the suspension right there at the bottom of the jump. And as far as the suspensions I'm running, I just decided to go with the highest suspensions I could get, because the highest suspension you can get is generally going to give you the least resistance in the mud in this game. So in terms of the mud tests, that's what's going to perform best. But in terms of the jump, I mean, stiffness is kind of what counts here. And I don't know how these trucks are going to handle it. Oh, wow. A little bit of sideways action on the way in. All right, 3, 2, 1, roll it over the edge. And just full beans. Now, obviously, because there is a large flat section down here at the bottom, we can't really do a neutral, like, gravity run. And, oh, no. The 6-speed just didn't have enough in it. I mean, you know what's funny? It didn't get any damage for doing that. The suspension beautifully took up that impact, and the truck drove away no problem. It just didn't go very far. So I'm not going to say that that was a fail by any means. It just didn't have the distance. But in terms of, like, the jump landing, it was beautiful. It was perfect. So let's now move over to the Yeti 5500. Actually, no, that's not the order we had before. The Mega Cab. Now, this thing I think is probably going to go pretty far. So long as it doesn't bottom out, I think it should do a pretty good result, because we've got a fairly high-speed transmission. We've got the Redline 8-speed. We could have gone for the towing transmission, which has a couple more gears, but I don't know if the additional 2 gears in the towing transmission actually account for much more speed. I think they might just account for more, like, ranges of pulling power, and I think the actual top end might be a little bit slower, but I haven't side-by-side tested that. That's just kind of my hunch, so we'll have to wait and see how this actually performs and how it plays out. Seems pretty fast going up the hill. Ooh, almost overshot it. Okay. All right, bringing it up to the edge. 3, 2, 1, let's go. We know we're gonna go farther than the second gen, but how much farther? Oh, this thing's ripping. And let's see. It's, oh no. Oh. I don't think we're driving away from that. That's a bit of an impact. That's actually a nasty impact. That is directly embedded into the ground. We did go farther than the 3500, but I gotta say, not as far as the trucks that we tested in the last video we did here. But now it's time to switch over to the Yeti 5500 and see what this monster can do. Now, this has another 8-speed transmission, but it's tuned entirely differently than the one in the Mega Cab. So really, it's a toss-up entirely as to which 8-speed is going to be faster. Now, I don't think this thing is going to have any issue bottoming out at the bottom of the ramp. The suspension seems perfectly stiff enough to handle that kind of impact. So that's not what I'm back and forth about in my brain. What I'm back and forth about in my brain is the distance, because I don't know how much this truck weighs, and if it weighs more than the Mega Cab, if it weighs more and the gearing is a little bit longer, it might be able to use gravity to its advantage to pick up more speed, shift up into 8th gear faster, and I think, are we already in 8th gear going up the ramp? the 8th gear in this thing might not be as fast. Now that I think about it, if it automatically shifted up into 8th going up that hill, I don't know. All right, 3, 2, 1, let's go. You could actually see the mega cab down there, like, speared into the ground. Oh, that 8 speed is nowhere near as fast. Oh, that's nowhere near as fast. This thing will be lucky if it goes further than the 2nd gen. Oh, it's going to land exactly next to the 2nd gen, isn't it? I mean, a hair further, like literally one truck length further. But the 2nd gen and this truck were very, very, very close, with the mega cab being out there, speared into the ground on its nose. So, in that regard, I mean, did the mega cab actually win? I mean, that's kind of up to y'all, if the mega cab actually won the jump test, because these two have no damage. Well, the 5500 has damage, but we won't worry about that. These two don't really have much damage, and that one is kind of in a state of undrivable right now. So I'm going to leave that one up to y'all. But if y'all enjoyed this video, let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see y'all next time.